I'm Dr. Cecilia Mweu, a Senior Research Fellow working at the Institute for Biotechnology Research, whereby in the Institute we are doing research on animals, plants and microorganisms, and our main aim is to tap the genetic resource in these different organisms to improve their production so that we can help the farmers to have better yields and even plants which can withstand different harsh conditions like drought and so on. We do have the tissue culture technology, and the tissue culture technology, its main aim is to multiply in mass. Like we have the commercial banana
allocated time. So we'd like to invite you all, karibuni sana, to this meeting. For some of us, it is very interesting, very exciting. We want to share and learn from each other. I'd like to ask for one courageous person to come over and pray for us. One courageous person. I don't know that I'm asking a very big thing. One courageous student. Yeah, one courageous student. And there's a verse in the Bible says that since the day of John the Baptist, the kingdom of heaven suffers violent. I'm looking for someone who is violent to take, courageous enough to. Thank you. And the violent take by force. Thank you. Just come over, and I wish the cameraman was next to me so that we achukue picha with me and the courageous lady. Karibu sana.
Okay, good morning.
Good morning.
I'm Alice Kamaro. Let's bow our hands for a word of prayer. Almighty and ever-living Father, we bow thy presence this wonderful morning unto you, glorifying and honoring your holy name. Thank you for enhancing us gather here. We welcome you in this forum. Guide us in everything that we undertake. We pray that you may be there with us. Guide us in everything, give us your protection, and sustain us with everything we need for this forum. We pray, believing and trusting the holy name. Amen. Thank you.
Thank you. You said Alice?
Alice Kamaro.
Alice Kamaru, thank you so much. Thank you for the courage to take the mantle. And I'm also encouraged to also have the courage to invite others. So we'd like to invite you to this auspicious occasion. We're having a multidisciplinary discussion on prevention and response to cases of missing children. And we are very grateful to the JKUAT fraternity for inviting us. We're very grateful for the medical social work fraternity KMTC for coming. I was telling my senior that I studied medical social work a bit, and I even once went for attachment at the Kenya Spinal Injury Hospital. So I have a bit of experience on medical social work. So this morning we'd like to bring us on to the discussion without much further ado. I'd like to invite our guests. I'd like to invite Mr. Brainstorm to rise and wave. Brainstorm is from, if I got KMTC, Medical Social Work. Karibu sana. Please give a round of welcome. Thank you, thank you. And then we have Madam Ifreja War, if I got your name correctly, from Nairobi Women's College. Thank you. And we have others whom will be coming along. I'd like to invite Dr. Joseph Mwangi Madheri, if you're in. Dr. Are you in? Yes, I know he's having several activities on his hand because he wants to invite the principal of the college. And Our theme for today is empowering communities to safeguard children from going missing. And as I was thinking about the theme, and I was thinking about it and asking myself, if our communities were well empowered, how well could we be safeguarded from missing children? Dr. Karibu sana. A round of welcome to him. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. As introduced, I'm Dr. Mwangi Madheri. I'm a physiotherapist by profession. My area is Disability Support Services. I'm the current sitting COD or Chair of Department of Rehabilitative Sciences. And I'm very proud to have been the father of founding medical social work in JKUAT. I'm following up on the steps of the goodness of this profession, medical social work. I was telling somebody that 2/3 of my 248 references of my PhD came from social work, and therefore I'm proud to mention that medical social work and social work in general is an area that has been neglected here, and therefore I'm proud to have brought it to the university and got Dr. Ndege. Welcome the principal. Welcome, principal. Thank you. And therefore, I would say feel welcome from Kenya Medical Training College. I was there for 13 years, 1989 and 98, to 2011. All that time, I was teaching at the Department of Physiotherapy. By and large, the missing child is an area that I think is very, very broad, very deep, very secretive, requires the efforts of everyone, and you can imagine the emotions it causes on families to find a child missing. And I think it is something we need to debate, to speak about, and to discuss in order that we can inform future approaches of how to go about the issue when the child is reported missing, or about the children that miss because their families are tormented. They are not impressed. They undergo a lot of psychological stress. And the exposure also of the child that is a victim. We do not know that whether they end up alive, or they end up in foreign countries, or they end up in the old way we used to say slave trade. So we do not know where the missing child is until we have the strategies that we can locate them. We cannot know when the child is found. We need to know whether there are reports that come from those who look for them. That is the DCIs and other people. What does the Office of the DPP do? What are the government strategies available to help to minimize this tragedy? And therefore, with those very, very, very few remarks, I'm humbled to call upon the principal, College of Health Sciences, to actually come and open this forum for our students and for our people in the medical social work field. Thank you.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to JKUAT and to the College of Health Sciences. I bring my greetings and apologies from the senior management. They wish to come, but they are not. The notice was too short, so you will have to do with me. I understand, or I've been briefed that we have amongst ourselves students from JKUAT and KMTC, and we also have staff from Children's Department, from the DPP, from Social Services, and Social Work, and also faculty from the college. Mine is really to just echo what Dr. Maderi has mentioned, that it's really a tragedy to lose to miss a child, to lose a child through not through death, but through them getting out of your custody. I think it's really a real tragedy to the parents, to the society, to their relatives, that such a thing can happen. And looking at the audience we have, again, it's very good that we have been able to have players from all the sectors that are involved when it comes to tracing missing children, and also looking at how to respond to such cases. Coming to the student fraternity, we started the course of medical social work about 3 years ago, and I think we have about 3 cohorts now, if I be corrected, 3 cohorts of students, and this was a big gap when it came to healthcare delivery. Integrating what happens in the health facilities with the society has always been a big challenge. How do you integrate how do you get a child from the hospital to the community and from the community to hospital? What are the social structures that surround that? And I'm sure through the course that you're offering, we are able to bring skills, new skills to the market. I know this course has always been offered by MTC at the diploma level, but we are building on what has been done over the years, and we hope that the new graduates will be able to have more skills, and therefore be able to tackle this problem of have a community-based or community-wide approach when it comes to tackling the problem of missing children. The players that are here, I know, of course, missing children are reported to the police, the DCI, the social protection, and I think they have a lot of experience in this area. So I would urge our students to listen to the faculty, Department of Rehabilitation Sciences, in this noble activity that you've brought to the university. And we hope that course grows. We are going to see more and more interactions with the players in the field. I wish that we would have more players from maybe the NGOs coming to such a meeting. Maybe in the next function, next year, we will increase on the number of players so that our students can get a feel of really what happens there and see what challenges they're going to encounter once they leave our institution. With that, I will stop my comments and hand it back over to the MC. Am I supposed to declare it open or not yet? So I declare this congregation open. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Another round of applause. Thank you. I've got a few lessons from what he has reminded us. We need more participation from different specialties, and we are saying that this cannot be tackled by one or two units or branches or fields of work and study. I forgot to introduce another very important person, Dr. Madheri. I'm forgetting one name. Yes, no, the one next to you. Sorry? Yes. Okay. So, members, I'd like to invite the session moderator, Dr. Waringe Muhindi, to take us through. And basically, he's taking over from me now. And I'd like to introduce him. He works for the future generation of this country as a child protection officer. Dr. Waringe stands as an outstanding professional in the field of child protection, boasting over 2 decades of experience in social protection and management. Currently, he leverages his expertise in Kenyan government's State Department of Social Protection, specifically within the Directorate of Children's Services, where I work, and the Child Protection Department. Dr. Waringe holds a doctorate of philosophy in management and leadership, demonstrating a commitment to continuous learning and advancement. He further bolsters his credentials with a postgraduate diploma in corporate governance from KCA University, alongside master's and bachelor's degree in sociology from esteemed University of Nairobi. And he has expansively trained in area of child protection and strengthening social welfare work in South Africa, Israel, and Sweden, and Switzerland. Professionally, Dr. Muhindi is Deputy Director for Children's Services, playing a pivotal role in developing. I'd like to conclude by saying that Dr. Waringe, his exceptional background is in the field of child protection. How many of you would like to join me in welcoming Daktari? And let's do the American welcome, the Obama welcome until he arrives. The Obama welcome. I'm humbled to invite Daktari. Karibu sana. Thank you.
Before Mr. Ashia, my colleague, leaves, I'll be the moderator for this morning session for the panel discussions and whatever will be going on most of this morning. Please, I would like you participate. Feel free to do this. But you need to get out of whatever you're thinking and probably you share with us whatever you have. So thank you very much, Ashia.
Asante.
Yeah. I would like to invite Madam Athena Morgan. And before she comes, I would like you get to know her well. Athena works as a regional project manager for Africanness among child stakeholders on issues of online child sexual abuse and exploitation, issues of missing and trafficking of children in the whole of Africa. She's also a convener for Kenya Civil Society Alliance, assisting with the implementation of United Nations Transnational Organized Crime. This is a UNTOC treaty, which provides for trafficking in persons, smuggling of migrants, and illegal firearms. In line with the UNTOC, Ms. Athena is also a committee member for Africa Regional Network, SE4U, dealing with trafficking in persons in Africa, with special focus on child trafficking. She also sits as the AU Brave Movement Survivors Special Task Force. She's also a seasoned trainer with over 7 years experience working with the local and regional organizations and even international ones in various aspects of online child safety and accessibility for persons with disabilities. She has conducted training in Ghana, Ivory Coast, Cameroon, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, South Africa, Zambia, Austria. Ms. Athena has a background in law with focus on human rights and technology. So that's about our speaker, and I would like to invite her. Makofi kama ile tumesikia Obama until she comes in here. Madam Athena, the floor is yours.
Thank you.
Karibu sana. Yeah. Contextualize why we are here.
Yes.
And I will be glad to hear. Please guys take notes so that anything that will be raised, you'll be able to discuss, ask questions, and also contribute to this. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Madam
sir.
Athena.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. How are you feeling today? So I will pick from what Dr. Orenge said in his opening remarks, and he said we should all engage and participate. Given my background, I am not one given to giving lectures. So I prefer having more of interact. We want to be a conversation, and I hope together we can all learn something new, because I'm also here to learn from all of you. So today we'll be looking at missing children, and in the context of Kenya and Africa, and why it is important to have this discussion. So my first question, and it is to the audience: who's a missing child? I just need one person to tell me who a missing child is. Who's a child? Do you know the definition of a child? Yes? Okay. We shall proceed after we get a few courageous people to tell us who is a child. Anyone? Just shout it out. Anyone? Esther, who is a child? Do you know that? And you didn't want to answer me. Should I be offended? Should I sit? Okay, can we do better next time? Okay, so who's a missing child? Anyone? Oh, come on. Your principal is here. Your lecturers are here. Your principal is here. Your lecturers are here. Let's shine for our universities. Anyone who wants to give it a try? Who's a missing child? Detective Lawrence, who's a missing child? Thank you for that, Detective. So a missing child is a child, a person who's under the age of 18, whose whereabouts are unknown. Are we clear on that now? Do you know who a missing child is? So why is it important for us to talk about missing children? First of all, the reason for this is because children go missing every day. But unfortunately, in the African context, missing children has not been given a lot of emphasis. And the reason for this is because most of the time you'll find that the common saying is that mtoto wako atapatikana tu, you know, or they're just acting out, they've just disappeared, they will come back, right? But when we do this, we are putting our children at a greater risk of more harm, because it means that for the period where you cannot account for their whereabouts, they could be going through situations that are either dangerous or uncomfortable to them. All right? Are we together? So my next question would be, what would make a child go missing? Can you give her a round of applause? Which school is that? Thank you so much. 1 star to Nairobi Women's. Let's keep accumulating and see who will be the best by the end of this session. So family issues is one of the reasons why children can go missing. For example, if there is constant conflict at home, if there is a child is neglected and not taken care of, they may run away from home looking for greener pastures, okay? Or looking for peace and security. Thank you so much for that. Someone else who can tell me a reason why children can go missing? Kidnapped or from the place where they're legally supposed to be. Thank you. Which school? JCOT. Thank you for that. The host has stepped up. So, kidnapping happens either by stranger, kidnapping or abduction. You can have stranger abduction where someone lures a child, this person is unknown to the child, and there is the kidnapping where it's either parental or familial or someone who the child knows, all right? So for stranger abduction, they will use tricks or tactics to be able to get the child to walk with them. We were told that initially they used to come with a sweet, and they're like, do you want candy? Can we go buy ice cream? And the child will say yes and go with them. Today, stranger abduction can happen either in that way, or you can find that a child has been solicited on the online platform. They've been talking to a stranger online, and they ended up on this side of the river and the parents are on the other side. So natural calamities, accidents, and issues like that can lead to children going missing. Two more? Yes, sir. Sorry? Yes. Thank you. Cultural practices, running away from cultural practices, especially for the girl child, like he said, running away from FGM, early marriages. You know, these are things that affect children who are under 18, right? So if they do not want to fit into that, and knowing that if you don't undergo FGM in a certain community, you are shunned, obviously this child would think that running away or going missing is the best way to save themselves, right? The last one, I had seen a hand there. Yes. Sorry? Mental health issues. Thank you. That's a very important one also. Children with mental health issues can go missing, and most of the time this is what we'd call the category of children who go missing unknowingly. The child could be wandering and forget their way home, right? Or they could get confused about where they live or who they stay with and end up being tricked to go with someone else. Okay, so mental health issues has a whole lot under it, and one of the key factors why children can go missing. Another one that maybe we have not talked about that affects teenagers a lot is peer pressure, right? Anyone who knows how peer pressure makes a child to go missing? Anyone who want to give it a try? Can peer pressure make a child go missing? How? Yes? So for teenagers, most of the time you'll find that what they want to do is fit in, right? And there is that mob mentality where we want to do what everyone else around us is doing. So if you're supposed to be in school, because some of your friends are absconding school, you also decide not to be in school. You decide to go somewhere else, you end up getting into trouble. The one thing I want us to note is that a missing child is a person whose whereabouts cannot be accounted for. So if a child is supposed to be in school, and whether it is for 1 hour or 5 hours, they are not within that place where they're legally supposed to be, that can be classified as a missing child. Does that make sense? At all times, children's whereabouts are supposed to be known by the adult who's in charge of them. So either they're in church, they're in school, they're at home. If you left your child in school and they miss from school, even if they're in a friend's place, but you were not aware that they were going to the friend's place, or the school is not aware, that is a child who has gone temporarily missing. Does that make sense? So legally, the only problem we face right now is that there is no universally agreed upon method or definition of a missing child. So every country comes up with its own definition, and also it's a constantly evolving concept, because what we may not have considered missing a year ago may actually end up falling under the category of a missing child. All right. So here Here in Kenya, we have made a lot of progress in terms of addressing issues of missing children. Working from the regional level in terms of Africa, we only have 6 countries that are actively looking into issues of missing children. That is Kenya, Tanzania, Ghana, South Africa, Namibia, and Cameroon. But Kenya is the only country so far that has taken active steps under the Department of Children's Services, Missing Children, to address the issues of missing children, come up with guidelines on how to address issues of missing children, and even the role of key stakeholders when addressing cases of missing children. Can we appreciate our country? Thank you. So, as we finish up on the missing children, we have also threats that children who go missing are likely to face. And since the cheat sheet is already there, I will not ask questions. So, as you can see, a child who goes missing is at risk of sexual exploitation, right? Sexual abuse, whether it is on the online or the offline platform. Children who go missing are at a greater risk of falling as victims of trafficking. Yeah? If a child is wandering, we know children as a commodity in the trafficking sector. Today, they are hotcakes. So a child who goes illegal activities. And that is why it is very important to start having conversations with children from a very young age so that they know that they always have options. A child may think that when they get lost in the street, they should follow any stranger. But have you told your child, look for a guard, look for a uniformed officer and talk to them and let them help you locate your parent? For example, in a mall, right? So having these conversations with schools is something that as social community workers, we should put a priority to so that we can educate both the parents and the children. Children who go missing also have a risk of deteriorating emotional and physical health. That is because probably they're not being fed well. If they're not at home, probably they're sleeping out in the streets because they don't know where to turn to for help. And also the risk of sexual assault and death, right? You've had a child goes missing, they are found a week later, and they are found dead. So investigations of children being reported missing must be done and done immediately. And as ICMEC, in partnership with the government, what our priority is in prevention, investigation. Action does not work, then it is for the law enforcement, as you're going to be seeing in the panel, for them to be able to work with the families, to work with the judiciary, to be able, does not make them feel as an outcast, all right? So we all have different responsibilities and roles to play, and part of the work that ICMEC does is also training for key stakeholders on these issues, all right? So finally, remember that as a country, as individuals, reporting should be immediately. We are lucky that we have toll-free numbers here that work 24/7. Most of them are free. And these numbers are also accessible to both children and the adults. It is the expectation that the people who are operating these toll-free numbers are personnel who are trained so that they know the right questions to ask, the details to collect, to make the investigation to be easier. And finally, it is the responsibility of every country to be able to have a database for missing children. This is a record to show that Athena went missing in January. She was found in April. This is the kind where she had been missing at. Maybe she was recruited into child prostitution, and these are the steps that we are taking to reintegrate her back into the society. Or Athena went missing in January, we are in December, there are still no traces of where she is, and that is an open and an ongoing case. Esther, now, International Missing Children's Day. It is every 25th of May. It is a day meant for countries to take stock of how far they have come in terms of addressing issues of missing children. That is, first of all, does the country have regulations that identify who a missing child is? Does the country have specific guidelines on step-by-step protocols that need to be taken once a child has been reported missing? And finally, if the country is in line with international protocols and treaties that talk about missing and trafficking of all protocols end treaties that talk about missing and trafficking of children. So this day is basically meant to raise awareness on who a missing child is, and also to agitate for more effort to be put into the issues of a missing child, other than treating it as a bundled up child issue, but to also look at it as a unique crime against children, or an abuse or a threat against children, and come up with specific measures to be able to address it. Yes, thank you. Anything else? Thank you so much, and thank you for being a good audience. Thank you, JKUAT, Nairobi Women's, and which was the other school? MTC also participated. Clap for yourselves.
Still catching up with the discussion, and this is very encouraging. Of course, for those who came in here early, I would like to invite Mark Care himself as we proceed. Over to you, Mr. Mark Care.
Thank you, Dr. Ruinge. I will be putting this down because then we need to be free. But first we need to appreciate Athena. And we have different formulas. Today, because we are celebrating missing children, or celebrating missing children, or generally a build-up activity, we'll just do the Obama style. You remember Obama was left-handed. Hello? Yes. So put your left hand like this. Thank you. Then you repeat it just the way I'm saying. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Asante sana. I want us to stand up. Let's stand up. Good.
Cook the porridge. Right hand. Cook the porridge. She cooked the porridge. Right hand. Thank you very much, Mr. Makea. When we are discussing children issues, we like using what children learn. And of course, this is one of the icebreakers or one of the energizers. So remember, kids, when they're in school, they have to do so many of those songs that are different so that they can remember some of the things. Yeah, this is it. So that we proceed to the next part of our reasons that we are here. We have various panelists invited. They are from different backgrounds. And the reason why they are from different backgrounds is that when a child goes missing, there are a lot of partners, there are a lot of institutions, there are a number of people that are consulted. Right from when the kids, when a child goes missing. You first maybe go to the neighbor, you go to the chief, you go all the way to the police. Then if not getting any help, you proceed, you ask for investigations, you look for social workers who are working within that area, people who are knowledgeable, so that you are able to trace the child, isn't it? And of course, the background of this is that, as you are told, when a child goes missing, if you are a parent or if you are the one taking care of the child, you miss maybe 2 heartbeats, isn't it? Roho inakatika. And such moments, most of us have experienced them, especially where you have kids accompanying you to maybe church and other social gatherings. Si mshasikia watoto wakiuliza kuna mtoto wako hapa amevaa hivi anaitwa that time that parent who have lost that kid, the heart is usually overwhelmed and misses a lot of that. So to help us discuss on the theme of this day that we're celebrating on 24th, and I'm saying 24th because 25th is a Saturday, we have invited a number of discussants. We have Fiona Olangi, who is a student, and I think there were 2, or is Fiona around? Yeah, please step to the front. He's a student at JKUAT. You'll have panelists occupying the seats here. Why you have the students coming first is because we believe they have a lot of knowledge. In terms of years, we are older and they are closer to where the kids are. Not that she's young, but she will be able to articulate a number of issues that a student can help us conceptualize and see how we can address missing and found children. Again, the issue on this, we have Dennis Chalo Abala. Are you with us, Abala? Karibu sana, makofi kwake. As we continue with the discussions, probably you will introduce yourself in terms of the faculty, the college. I don't know whether these days you have departments or you have directorates. You will tell us. And allow me to invite as well one of our own, Naomi Wamaitha Joroge. Kindly step forward, clap for her as she comes. Naomi is a highly experienced social worker, a community development specialist, educator and certified professional mediator with a BA in social work. Just come here, please, as I read through your bio and credentials. Yeah, she studied at Nairobi University, a postgraduate. She has a graduate diploma in project management with over 10 years practical experience. She has a she's passionate about humanitarian practitioner, where she serves as a social worker and a human rights crusader. So again, we also have Mr. Noah Mokaya Omambia Sanganyi. I've never known that Sanganyi have so many names. Makofi kwake as he comes. I heard they are founding fathers, and he's one of them. He's a specialist in this area of child protection over 37 years. And he's a former director of Children's Services and secretary to the National Council for Children's Services. If you don't know some of these state corporations or other, whatever we are, where he has worked, maybe we could get details on that. He's pursuing a PhD in sociology at Mount Kenya University, and he has done so much work, including what we hear of cash transfer for vulnerable, orphaned and vulnerable children, older persons, and he's out of these works, he's been recognized by the head of state as a head of. He has been given a medal on a head of state commendation. Mr. Noah Sanganyi, well, still a director. Together, they teamed up with a number of people to do a research on the area of missing children. That's Mrs. or rather Esther Dungu, Mafore, Muhingi, and himself. And that study was on the area of social determinants of vulnerability of missing children. It's a case of Nairobi Remand Home. ODPP stands for Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions. So in case there is anything that is legal, we're looking at a child who is missing, we have found someone who has kidnapped, they do help us with the interface of the law, and they prosecute cases that go with that. She's a prosecution counsel attached to the Children's Division in the Office of Director of Public Prosecution and based at Milimani Law Courts. She handles criminal matters involving both children in conflict with law and children in contact with law and adults who are alleged to have engaged in criminal activities. She's passionate about sensitizing public and child-centered approaches to online safety, self-empowerment, and laws that protect children from all forms of exploitation. So anything legal, we have her here. I know she didn't come alone. We had he's now Detective Lawrence Okoth. He's done a lot of studies in the serving at the Directorate of Criminal Investigations, at Anti-Human Trafficking and Child Protection Unit. I think this is a plus to us working in the child protection sector. And particularly, he does work in the cyber division that plays a huge role. You know, internet and access to it by our kids. So these are a lot of dangers that come with that. They may get entangled in the web, and there's a lot that happens, and he has a lot of information. He will tell us what he's doing and how he can help us in dealing with cyber crimes. You know, crimes are quite many. Yeah. Then we have Mark Obiabokea. This guy of the Atieno fame. He should come singing the Atieno. He's an assistant director, Children's Services. He has a BA from sociology, from University of Nairobi, and also an MA in social development from Maseno University. He's worked over 17 years and served as a district children officer for 7 years. Served as a manager of a Remand Home for 8 years. He's currently stationed in DCS, and he's working on programs on child, various programs, and particularly on CPIMS. CPIMS, he will tell us more of it, is a data management system that helps to collect and record information or data on children issues. Then we have we are many. We're going to fill these seats. Dr. Wilkins is one of your own. Mr. Principal. I don't know whether he needs introduction. For those who don't know him, he's a medical social worker, lecturer, and examination coordinator at Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and Technology and Health Sciences, School of Medicine and Department of Rehabilitative Services. He holds a PhD in social work from Catholic University of East Africa and an MSc in social work and a BSc in social work and healthcare, both from St. Elizabeth University. This is from Slovak Republic, Bratislava. I think he has a wealth of experience and you'll be able to share with us. Then again, he's an active member of the International Association of Schools of Social Work and Association of in Africa, where he is the East African Regional Coordinator. Makofi kwake. He's a part of our team spearheading social work registration and regulation and organizing the forthcoming Global Social Work Conference. Yeah, he's by excellence a consultant in this area. Yeah, he's a professional that we rely on, and I think be able to tell us the interest he has in this area as we discuss. Have I left anyone? Athena, for you to join the panel, or have you done your part? We may call you from time to time as you give us more insights in whatever we're discussing for your regional experience, international, so that we're able to marry that with whatever you have. We have Mr. Kadie Kelwon. Where are you? Kadie, karibu sana, makofi kwake. Ile ya Obama until he sits down. He's the head of Department of Medical Social Work at Kenyatta National Hospital. With over 20 years experience. He's a Nairobi Metropolitan Region KEMSA representative, KEMSWA. He has a BA in Sociology from KU and Masters in Social Work from Catholic University of East Africa. Thank you very much. Put your hearts together for all the panelists here. And to go back to the program and whatever has brought us here, we'll field questions to the panelists here. They'll be able to answer, give insights, and of course we are looking at the broad theme for this year's celebrations is empowering communities to safeguard children from going missing. So probably that will be where our limitations are. We're looking at the theme and we're looking at what we can do to have preventive and responsive issues that would help a child not go missing. Having said that, Fiona and the students here, probably maybe they could start us off by giving us a bit of insight in terms of how they, Fiona?
Medical social workers. As we gathered here today, you know it's no new thing for children to go missing. And it is so sad that a parent has given birth to a child. It is the dream of every parent to see their child grow. But this joy is taken away from them. This parent has to go without knowing where my child is. It is sad and it is depressing for any parent. So today, as we are marking Children Missing Day, as you have heard, the theme is empowering communities to safeguard children and young adults from going missing. As you have heard, empowering communities. Medical social workers. Answer. Medical social workers. As you know, we have our core values. Our core values are empowering, advocating and taking care of the vulnerable. This resonates with us As you can tell, in as much as it resonates to every course in medicine, it is majorly us. We empower people, we advocate for the vulnerable people, and we have to empower the community. It is our responsibility. So medical social workers, say it like you mean it. Medical social workers. In as much as we are empowering these children, we also must have heard, according to what the speaker from the last session just said, we have to measure in prevention. How do we measure in prevention? There are people who are vulnerable. There are things that make children run away, such as family dysfunction, social economic challenges, mental health issues, substance and drug abuse. As you understand, we are all Gen Zs. Gen Zs, there are so many things we are tempted to try. You're like, your friends are taking drugs, you're tempted to try. Such things can make you go missing. Since you're like, why should I go back home and I can just chill with this group, without knowing that in as much as you've decided to go away, there are people at home who are worried about you. It is the dream of your mother, of every sister, of every brother and uncle to watch their child grow. It is also clear to us that people from the vulnerable societies are more likely to lose their children. Look at it this way. There is a street mother on the streets who sleeps with her child, and there's a trafficker somewhere who's waiting to take this child in order to get paid ransomly. That person won't go for someone in a gated community. They will target the one who is vulnerable, the one who's sleeping on the streets. So as medical social workers, it is our responsibility in these prevention methods. Let us think, what ways can we help these vulnerable people? There are so many ways in which we can help, but we have been trained. One of the ways we can help these people is education. As we have always been told, education is power. Medical social workers, say it like you mean it. Medical social workers, we can educate people. The moment you tell your child, once you go missing or once we are somewhere in a mall and we have been separated from each other, don't go asking help from anyone. Look for someone who's in uniform. Look for someone who's in police uniform. This person is more likely to help you. Apart from educating the children, we can do community outreaches. For those who are in the second year and third years, we've already gone to hospital, we have been exposed, we know how an outreach is done. Community engagement, let us teach the community. Once you find your child missing, as we have been told, report immediately. It is better to overreact than underreact. Medical social workers, vigilance is key when children go missing. Since the moment you are vigilant immediately, it is going to be able to save the child if the child has not yet been taken far. As we have been told, prevention is better than cure. Once the child has been taken, the trauma is not only with the child who has been taken, but also the parent, the sister, the brother, the uncle, and the auntie who have been left. As medical social workers, it is our work to help these people. How can we help them? Psychosocial support services, advocating for their rights within the criminal justice system. But I do not mean it is the work of only the criminal justice system to help. Because with missing children, it is not only the criminal system that is supposed to help us. It is everyone's responsibility. A baby is not your child, a baby is the society. So once your child is lost, let us all get involved. First, we can also do advocating for the rights within the criminal justice system, as I have said. We can also do rehabilitation for the parents. Let us call the parents, let us talk to them. It's no new news that once your child is lost, you can fall into depression. You can imagine the pain of a mother who is struggling to look for fee and make ends meet once the child has been taken away. It is painful and depressing, as I had said. So let us also help them. And once the child has been found, what is your role? What is my role as a medical social worker? Let us help this child. Let us know what happened. Let us try to help them fit back to society. Since this child, as we have learned, they might have gone through horrible things. As you've heard, they might even have gone through sexual trafficking. These are painful and depressing things. Let us be able to know that it is our responsibility to help these people back into society. With that said, I will just like to remind you, medical social workers, thank you very much.
Medical social workers. You say it loudly. Medical social workers. Yes, please. Yeah. I think I'll thank you very much for that wonderful presentation. Very insightful. And having said that, I think I need to set time. We are many, and I think we need to agree whether we do 10-15 minutes. I start guided. We do a presentation of 10-15 minutes, or 10 or 5, or can we talk over not more than 10 minutes? Sindio? That would translate almost to a whole hour plus. Sindio? 5 minutes, you said? 5. Yeah, let's try to be very brief. Viona and the students, I think they had the benefit of taking all the time. They are our hosts. Say something. Thank you very much, Ashia, for that. And, I would just start with Mark Care. Mark Care, please, you had prepared a presentation. I would like to use this podium alone, and I would request you sit where you are so that you don't take a lot of time. I don't know whether the mic is working. You give an overview of the Directorate of Children's Services, what the Directorate is doing, the policies to address and mitigate on issues to do with missing children. Give us more insight. I may not know what you want to do, but I know you have something that you would like to share with us. From there, we'll be able to, and please note if you have any question, please note it down. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Muhindi. My name, I'll repeat my name again. My name is Mark Care. I work for the Directorate of Children's Services. And I know you'll be asking yourself what a particular directorate this is. For your information, just be aware that we are in the Ministry of Labor and Social Protection, or the State Department for Social Protection and Senior Citizen Affairs. As a Directorate of Children's Services, we therefore deal with children matters. And I say you can place us in law, meaning that we implement an act of parliament. And that act of parliament, one of the most voluminous acts ever done in Kenya is the Children Act of 2022. And that act actually was done to give effect to the Constitution of Kenya, particularly Article 53 of the Constitution, among other articles like Article 45, Article 47, and among other articles. When you think about the Directorate of Children's Services, then you look at as a government agency or a government department that actually enforces that particular law. And how do we enforce that law? By ensuring that we safeguard the rights and best interests of children in the Republic of Kenya, and not in Uganda or Tanzania. We're just talking about Kenya. But you'll be interested to know what are our roles and functions. The number one thing that I want you to be aware of is that when the role of the Directorate of Children's Services, then you can locate it in law again. That is Part 4 of the Children Act, and specifically Section 38, where you find the roles of the Secretary of Children's Services. And then Section 39, the powers of the Secretary. So our roles can be categorized into 4 major functions, and one being actually implementation of that particular act. And in implementation of the act, I'll be able to elucidate that on that later. And you think about not only the Children Act, but also other relevant laws and policies that speak to the rights and welfare of children, or safeguarding the rights and welfare of children. Then number two, you'll think about coordination as another category of our responsibility. Then you think about also supervision, and then lastly, partnership. So that's the reason why you find us here with all these stakeholders, because we must partner in response to safeguarding the rights and welfare of children, and we include actually the missing children. So specifically, when you think about our role in prevention, then you think about us also creating awareness and sensitizing the public on issues to do with children's rights and all child protection in general. In doing that, number one, the directorate does by doing what we call keeping records. And you remember what Athena said earlier. That all signatories, when it comes to the laws, we have that responsibility of making sure that we have records of missing children. And that does not only at the directorate, but also at DCI, and is going to talk to you about that. And then number two, you also think about mediation. And I want you to think about what you guys yourself had said earlier about the reasons that make children be separated from their caregivers, meaning that they go missing. And one of those is actually the issues to do with the family. And I think Athena reiterated on that. And if you realize that, what about if there are conflicts? We are the ones to do mediation, and we go to the extent of providing guidance and counseling. There's also the aspect, which is the most important aspect, that when they reports, we receive reports, then we also think about tracing. And when we think about tracing, we are tracing families, and for specifically children, maybe who are just found, they are missing, yes, to their caregivers and parents, but they are found, already found, and therefore they are under safe custody, and therefore we can be able to do the tracing. When that tracing is done, then there is also the other function that we do, and that is reintegration. And reintegration, for reintegration to happen, is that we must do reunification. So our roles spread across, and some of these roles are prevention-oriented, and others are response-oriented. For example, if it's about, again, children who are missing, we also have the aspect of court reports. And I know ODP talk more about this, that we are able and called upon from time to time to do social inquiries and present those reports to court, and with recommendation. And the recommendation would be that either we are looking for more time to enable us do further investigation, or generally we have found the families and we want to place them, or we want to put them in alternative forms of care, and which I'm going to also be able to tell you. So the Directorate of Children's Services also operates what we call rescue centers. And specifically, I want you to think about Nairobi Children's Home. For the abandoned
Time is
children.
not on your side. Please conclude.
For the abandoned children, and that is very important to us. And because of, I just want to move to the strategies that the Directorate has already put in place. And one of those strategies is that from time to time we come up with the laws, regulations, and policies, and even guidelines. And I know our guideline for missing children in Kenya is going to be launched on 24th, when we'll be celebrating this day. And number two, we have currently a toll-free line. We call it Child Helpline, toll-free, 116. That again, children and even parents can call in and report on issues affecting those children who are missing. And I wanted not to forget that we celebrate such kind of days. And in celebration, you remember, we create awareness, and that in itself is a strategy. But we have now a structural strategy that even in the Directorate itself, we have a department, and in that department, we have a unit specifically for missing children. And therefore the government is serious here.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Give a hearty clap for that. I know government is serious. It has reenacted the law. It has whatever was there before, and this shows seriousness. Thank you very much, Wanakea, for that presentation. Now I will call upon Detective Lawrence from DCI Anti-Human Trafficking Child Protection Unit to give us an overview of what he's doing, and especially when kids go or children go missing. We also know that it's not only the children, but they are young adults. Yeah, so maybe he may give us an insight on that and how he can prevent and resolve issues on the missing children. Please hand over the mic to, or you have it. You have starting now 5 minutes.
Thank you very much. And just to inform you that I'm an alumni of JKUAT, and I'm very glad that I'm here to really share with you.
Hey, makofi kwake. You are home.
Thank you very much. I did my undergraduate Bachelor of Science in IT from here, and I'm able to really build up on what is going on out there in search of missing children. And I work at a unit that is centric to children. We focus on children matters alone. And when we receive reports of missing children, we usually believe that the immediate search for a reported missing child is the only way to bring them back home. So we have really put some structures that can help. We have partnered with other organizations like Missing Child Kenya and Meta, which is an umbrella body of Facebook, Instagram, because everybody is really on social media. So even missing children, they are part of the internet. So as a unit or as DCI, we use the internet information that because digital footprints are there, we analyze and try to really locate and find that child. And what we do as police, we record missing children reports, then we launch investigations, and the report entails detailed information of the missing person. And once we get that, we act on that information, go to the place, the home, and interview the people who might have interacted or have information about the missing child. Then using that information, we are able to do communications through Amber Alert, which is termed as the Kenya Emergency Child Alert. Once we gather enough detailed information, we are able to share. We release this message to the community on Facebook around the radius from where that person has gone missing. So using the information that we get from the Facebook community, we are able to really try to accelerate the speed of finding that child. And that initiative is one of the initiatives that we just entered into agreement and partnership with Meta, and it is really working for us. And we also do, there are those children who are online, they have gone missing but they are at home, they are in the dark net, they are being abused, and once they are abused, even you can have a child at home, you really can talk to that child and he is not listening to what you are saying because he is not at home. He is in the cloud, he is in the internet. And once we detect people who are abusing children online, we are able to come their homes, pick the gadgets, trace the offenders, and make sure the children who are really screen addicts and are missing in the internet are really rehabilitated. And that is why partnership is very key, because we need medics. We need those people with medical skills to really handle this kind of children. And also, as we deal with the offenders, the children who have gone through the ordeal of torture, kidnap, the online abuse are really treated and they follow their dreams. So we believe we are playing a very key role, and just having the unit alone for children within the DCI is really something big. It is communicating a lot, and we encourage even you, as you do your research papers should also try to bring out how children are missing and how we can deal with this pandemic in a way, in an academic way, so that it can inform the future. And we also are open to those who are doing research, so that we also make sure we are updated in terms of the current situation. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. As you can hear, from my friend Lawrence, is that even when you go online, there is a way of tracing you and really looking into you in terms of following you up and be able to track those offenders. There's a lot of stuff that is going online, whether porn, whether luring, grooming, and whatever would go on, even incidences of live streaming. And those are the incidences that push kids to go missing because they are so much exposed. Thank you very much, Lawrence, for that insight. And you're also traceable through a certain number where one can report anonymously without fear of, being a witness, or, some of us don't report those issues when you feel like you're going to a police station to report anything.
Yes, because we really know that people outside there, at times they find it difficult to give information to the law enforcement agencies, especially the DCI, because they will be called to do statements. So the DCI actually came up with a number which is anonymous. You can always call, because when you call, it is anonymous. The person receiving the number, the information will not know who is calling, but we are interested in that information so that we help a missing child. So the number is 0800 722 03. It is Fichua kwa DCI. At times we see kids or young adults going missing.
Please, for those who are writing it in the notebooks, you must be having a phone. Put directory into your phone so that we are digital. You don't go looking for it after he has left and then you'll have disposed your notes. Put it in your phone, please.
Yeah, so make sure you can dial it anytime. You don't go look for your notebook. You go to your phone book and dial it. I will repeat, 0800 722 203. And we encourage, I wanted to say that even at the university hostels, there are those young adults who go missing. Then it is the parents back at home who report. And yet they have, you call it cube mates, who did not report. So we encourage that you can report from wherever you are so that we accelerate the search for a missing child or a missing young adult. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that clarification. And we need now to go and keep on noting the questions that you need to raise, because we have some time to respond to any issues that are not clear or you like to get further information. Allow me to call Naomi Wamaida from ICSSP to give us an overview in terms of strategies and skills that can help prevent incidences of children and young adults from missing. Madam Wamaida, I hope you are ready. You have the mic. Please, the floor is yours, and I've started timing now.
All protocols observed. I'm Naomi Wamaitha, working for ICS. And I would start by greeting everyone. Good morning. So good afternoon. Good afternoon. So mine is to start by first appreciating Daktari, my mentor, when I was like you. He gave me an opportunity to serve the street children in Nairobi. And I believe we don't have data, but that's where most of the missing children are. So thank you so much for this another opportunity to share life skills that can prevent children and young adults from missing. I want to address this issue that has affected our community deeply, the disappearance of children and young adults. It's a heartbreaking reality, and we need to take urgent action, and we want to take the earliest opportunity to thank DCS, Directorate of Children's Services, for this initiative that we have to create awareness on this pertinent issue and to prevent these tragic incidents. We need to equip our young ones, our children, with key life skills. The life skill number one I would like to share is one, empowering our children and young adults on safety education. So when we handle safety education, we'll be able to guide them on potential dangers that they might face and how to navigate safely. These include understanding their environment and also recognizing risky situations.
I'm very, very privileged to be here to talk about a very, very small program which we started in DCS when I just joined as a Director of Children's Services. And I'm happy that the person assigned that role is in the room by the name Esther Mugure. Esther, kindly if you can raise your hand. There is a reason why I'm doing this. That is the officer that I had assigned that role to spearhead this issue of missing children. And I'm now addressing the students who are here. You can start small and you can reach very, very far. When this issue came up, I thought that it is our responsibility as the DCS to take it up. But it had already started from prison service because of those small children who were accompanying their mothers to prisons. But we agreed as two departments to do a survey, and that is that is how now the missing children unit started in DCS. And from there, I left it in the hands of Esther, working with other partners, to ensure that we entrench it in all the structures of DCS. That PowerPoint has many slides. I'll just summarize it, our chair, in few. I will not go through it. I'll just summarize on it. One thing I want to emphasize is that missing children can look a very, very small issue. Just as children issues are not taken very, very seriously in most of the organizations. People tend to talk about adults, but children issues are normally taken very low. And this is why I want to challenge every one of us in the room that we need to look at this issue very, very well. I'm happy that our detective has mentioned that now many of our children can be traced. When we started, they could not be traced. Some of them are not even in this country because they were trafficked elsewhere. But I'm happy that with these efforts, I am sure now things are being put in place so that all the efforts can bear fruit. I want to go straight. I said I'll not go slide by slide on that, but I'll just summarize to the issues which I was asked to present, the emerging issues. The emerging issues, I'm categorized them in terms of the diverse causes of disappearance. That is the way I'm looking at it. And I'm looking at it as children who are running away, children who are being abducted. I wish that you don't even go on the slides because it will confuse everybody. Let me just summarize this. Now that it is here, they can get it in soft copy. So the way I've categorized these emerging issues is per disappearance, the cause of disappearance, and I've said it is on child abductions. This is very, very common, and it's very common between parents where they are fighting, but the person who is actually affected is the child. So that is the way I've categorized it. But there is the other new emerging issue on missing children. And I don't know whether you have learned about it. We have children who are missing because of religious, let me use the word radicalism. There are children who are being taken away from school because their parents feel that they need not to go to school. They need more to go to Upstone. So that is the way I've categorized it, that it is a new issue that we need to look at as practitioners. There is another emerging one on children with disability, living with disability. These are the children, and I'm happy that my colleagues here are working very closely to have these children who are in Nairobi streets from our neighboring country and who are physically challenged. These are the ones really, they are not in their own home settings. They are in a different country and they are being used as a source of income. Advancement in such technology, and I'm happy that our detective has mentioned about it. This is where children are actually being searched by smartphones through a very advanced approach. The other area, emerging issue is on the desire for our children to be independent. I've had many children say, I just wanted to be independent. I feel I'm an adult, and the person talking to you is 16, 15 years, wants to be independent, so they run away from home. But what is more worrying, a very worrying trend in this country, is there's a family separation, and this is now giving our children an easy option of missing from their homes and to go elsewhere. On the role of social work, I didn't mention that I'm a trained social worker from the University of Nairobi, where I graduated in 1986. I don't know how many students were born by then, 1986, but I want to give you hope that although I graduated in 1986, I'm 62 years now, today, you will reach there. Yeah? That is why I'm specifically talking about this. So as a trained social worker, this issue is very dear to me. That is why I took the steps to have it as a unit in DCS. So what is the role of this social worker? It's really to broaden interagency cooperation. Like the people seated here, they have solutions from their various organizations. You also have solutions on this. So if we team up together, it is easy to tackle this issue of missing children. We need to also to update our tools. The tools need to be updated in terms of search, the ones dealing with search for children, especially on the internet. We need to refocus our role as social workers, and I'm happy that my colleague has mentioned about it. We as adults, sometimes we only have smartphones, but we don't know what it is. But our children are more familiar with it. So as social workers, you need to update yourself on this particular area, on technology, so that you are able to advise in the event that there is a missing child. We also need to learn from our mistakes. There are mistakes being done by practitioners. We need to create safe spaces, and my colleague has already mentioned. And we also need to tell our people the changing trends in the area of, in totality, child protection, and what is there for children in the country. We need to support the families of those children who are missing. You can imagine a mother, a father, a guardian who is looking for a child, but they have not gotten the child. We need to assist those children, those families, to go through coping mechanisms, through counseling. I'm finishing. And I want to really emphasize on forming associations of missing children. It can be like this institution. It can be the people who are in the civil society. It can be the people who feel that they need to push some things in the area of children. Like now, I'm part of the technical committee developing the social work bill so that we are recognized as social workers. And I'm sure the issue behind that is that it is a strong, let me call it a strong association, which will make work of a social worker be strong and be able to tackle such issues as missing children. My last request to our students: you have all what it takes to be good students, to graduate from this university, and also we are waiting for you outside here to implement what you are learning. We'll be there to model you, to mentor you, so that you sharpen your skills. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Bwana Noah Saganyi. I think you've given us a lot of insight in this, and I believe most of you have seen the statistics there. And you should put those statistics to feelings. How many souls are searching for their kids or loved ones? There are quite many, and many more. And a good reason we are here today is that we stop children from going missing. And of course, it means we need to network to ensure when we find them, what do we do with them? What do we do with them? Some of them keep them in their houses. It's illegal. Some of them would give a relative who needs to have a child, maybe. So maybe we need to know how we need to handle that. Thank you very much, Bwana Noah Saganyi again. And I would like to invite Mr. Richard Kadie from Kenyatta National Hospital. We know in hospitals is where kids are born. I don't want to say that it's only in Pumwani. But some of the kids go missing in hospitals. I don't know whether you have insight on that, but you may let us know more of that. Again, hospitals is where you find kids being abandoned. If the kid is very sick. Mr. Saganyi mentioned about disability, but there are other factors. But within a hospital environment, I think he'll throw some light and we get to know more of that. Karibu sana, Mr. Kadie, you give us an insight on the medical social worker perspective in this. Thank you, and the floor is yours.
Yes, good afternoon. As you have been told, my name is Kandie. I'm the head of Unit Medical Social Work, Kenyatta National Hospital. I've been there for the last 20 years or so. So in what we are discussing about missing children, maybe let me start by how we go about in the hospital. In essence, our entry of any patients who come to the hospital is we do an assessment so that we can make what we call social diagnosis. And the social diagnosis actually is what we have just been told about these reasons as to why these children go missing. And part of it is poverty, family conflict. Some are because of anxieties, peer pressure. And some of the cases we have come across is the parents' pressure on education. Because the parents want their children to excel, but some of these children are not gifted when it comes to issues of schooling. So because of that pressure, some children run away. So actually, what we do when a child lands in our hospital, and incidentally, most of the children we have come across are the boy child. So actually, the boy child is at a greater risk of disappearing based on our experience at the hospital. What we usually do, there are those children who come, like the one for Mr. Sanganya has just said, with disability, because we have had almost 4 children from the neighboring countries unable to talk. Those ones, we managed to place them in children's homes. But those ones were able to talk. Like the latest case we had was, I think, a month ago, for a young boy who came to the hospital and gave us a different name. He told us he was from Likoni. He's a 12-year-old, but he could not describe so much about Likoni. He keeps on saying he's forgetting. Usually what we do in the hospital is our mode of contact tracing is we place their photographs in the hospital Facebook page. And that is how we trace the parent. Incidentally, this was somebody who was from Kawangware. He ran away from home because of, I think the father was the mother was in up country and then he was staying with the father. And the father was so much of a disciplined person. And then the young boy, because always, the boys, they usually go around playing. He could go out up to 10, he comes back and the father was a bit worried. So when he decided to discipline him, the boy decided to go to the street. And now when he came to the hospital, he told us he's from Likoni. Later on, we found out he was actually planning to go to that Likoni. How he got about the information about Likoni, he didn't tell us. But after managing, I'm just giving a story, the context of what we are doing. When the father came, he denied. He actually denied both the parents and even his cousin. But the parent came with the books, the pictures, and you're wondering why is he denying. Then we told him we released the parents, and then we decided to engage one of the nursing staff at night. And the father has given us a need that this young boy likes taking Fanta Passion. So we had to buy some Fanta Passion and some cakes. And that is how he opened up. That the father is a bit strict. But he wants to be in Nairobi. The mother is in up country. He doesn't want to go to up country. But he wants to be in Nairobi, but not to be with the father. So somehow we talk with him and then we release him to the parent. So actually there is a greater challenge. There's an issue or a problem when it comes to the missing children. But out of our experience, I think what we need to do is to have a stronger stakeholders engagement. because actually for that case, sometimes we get for the children, we usually engage the children's officers. And out of our experience, we find them, they are a bit disjointed. So I think this symposium or a discussion, it's actually an opportunity for us to put our heads together and think on how we can have a well-coordinated way of rescuing or tracing these missing children. I think that's what I can say as of now. Kama wakati kutakuwa na maswali nitajibu zaidi. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kadie. I think when I was doing sociology, I was told about social work, and social work deals with cases. And of course, you have given your case. That I think is very touching. You know, that example that you've given of that boy. Yeah. Thank you very much for that. And I think more questions will come later. I had already posted mine. I don't know whether it's because I talked about Mumwani, missing kids in hospitals, but I will, okay, maybe you can quickly recap on that. Yeah, please. Don't know.
Yes, actually, there are a lot of missing children or abandoned children. Some are abandoned within the hospital. There are those with special needs. The special needs, the one with disabilities. Then some others abandoned children because of the social and economic background that they are not able to pay, not to pay, to take care of the child, or these cultural issues that sometimes you get a child who is born by close relatives and they don't want to take care of them. So for those ones, the children's department assists us to place them. But now, the most difficult part of it is trying to trace a relative or next of kin of a child. Because for the adults, it's easier for us because we take their fingerprints and then we shall know this person is from a place XYZ. But for the children, it is a bit difficult. So that's why I'm getting for a concerted effort to a good framework for all players in this field. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kadia, on that. And I think, as you were explaining that, you also mentioned the issue of tracing. We need also to look at how do we trace, what mechanisms, what methods should we employ so that we are able to fast, to be very quick in tracing and recovering the lost ones. Thank you, and allow me now to invite Dr. Wilkins Tege Muhingi to give us an academic perspective in response, in terms of response and prevention as well on the missing child. Please expound on what role the academia is playing in this area and what would be of concern to both practitioners and the academics in terms of developing a program that would work out for us. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the opportunity and all protocols observed. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, I think from an academic perspective, an educator's perspective, most of the things that have been said here, we can cover them. And maybe just to mention, I did a research on online child abuse, and there is a publication on digital literacy and online child abuse. And I'm very passionate about children matters. And something was mentioned about disability, and the disability expert is here, Dr. Madheri. I think we need to, now that Mr. Kandia talked about stakeholders working together, for me, I would go the research way. I'm already talking about what I was supposed to talk about. Yeah, so in terms of research, as an institution, we can collaborate with all these stakeholders and do a research And for me, I will question the definition of missing child. I have done publications on that, but what is the definition of missing child? Someone whose whereabouts is not known and is less than 18. Then Mr. Sangani talked about that one who is living with disability and is hidden somewhere. Is that a missing child? So the missing may not just be because you are somewhere, then you have gone. But we need to interrogate that and see, is the missing because you are being hidden somewhere? So we go beyond just us seeing you and anything else that brings about that missing. So in academia, we can approach it from the research perspective and get maybe findings about missing children, like those who are living with disabilities, those missing because of online, and Detective Lawrence talked about this. We can work together on that if there is any opportunity to do that kind of research. But coming to the program of medical social work, as much as medical social workers work in the health area or health settings, maybe for those who are new to medical social work, medical social workers are social workers who have some knowledge in health. So medical social work is the sub-discipline of social work, which has a responsible relationship with public health and medicine. And we intervene on social issues in the health area. And I like the example he gave, or which you call the case. You see, a child can get missing in a hospital. So you as a medical social worker, you are concerned, and he approached it from the assessment perspective or point. Then you find the other stakeholders who are involved. So as we train our students, we train them on assessment, we train them on other areas in terms of methods, principles, ethics. When you're handling children, I know there have been cases where also maybe issues have happened, but we train our social workers on ethical matters, how they handle children issues, and specifically like on missing children, not to get involved in trafficking. So for us is to design, and we have designed our programs in such a way that it addresses those specific emerging issues, specific issues around missing children. And we have a number of courses that touch on that, like child and family legal issues. We also address such issues. And then when it comes to training, like JK Watt, we have rotations. We call them block rotations, which some people refer to as attachment. So we take these students to hospitals. They do what we call clinical rotation. This is to expose them to medical social work practice in the hospital setup. Medical social workers can also work in special schools with children who have mental health issues and so on. So we also expose them to another rotation, or which you may refer to as attachment, in an institution. And we may also be even sending students your way in the Directorate of Children's Services. So this one is also an awareness kind of session where, you know, when they come there, as you have heard it from the more than 20 years practitioner saying, there is relevance of medical social work on these issues, as much as they may not be directly involved. And then other than rotation in hospitals, I've talked about rotation in institutions, which we call institution-based. Then we have community-based rotation, where they work with the community. Because there are social workers who work within communities with the other practitioners, maybe community development, health, community health workers, and so on, so that they have a taste of what goes on in the community. And then we also have an attachment, which sums up everything. Now they can decide based on their interest. Like those who are seated here, I know in the near future, maybe there's someone who is interested in children and will be saying, now let me focus on this. And then Esther, you'll get people to support you on the issue of missing children. So this is a topic and subject that is very close to my heart. Thank you very much.
Pigieni lecture yetu, pigieni vizuri kabisa. And I think I'm saying that you need a good crowd because you've kept time. You're within our time frame. And I think you've touched on a number of issues. Research is very critical. It will inform practice. Without that, I think we'll be missing out on, we'll also end up being missing children or adults. Then there's the issue of the ethics practices. I think this is critical for us as students, for us as practitioners. So so that we are able to dispatch our duties or dispense our duties in the right way. Yeah, most importantly, we have a lot of institutions, attachment for students. There are possibilities of that in the various institutions we have here. Mr. Care, I think we have over how many institutions? 30. So you can be able to comfortably place a class for attachment and other things. So those opportunities are there. And that's the only number that we have within ourselves, and we are able to reach out more based on the partners that we have here. Yeah, without taking much time, there are issues to do with prosecution. You've talked about ethics. This is also the prosecution part of it. What if we fall outside whatever is defined legally? We'd like to ask Rea Wanja Mati from the Office of the Director of Public Prosecution to take us through on what they are doing, the charges they are having, whatever programs they have in handling cases of missing children. And you are not the last speaker. I know many have spoken, but when it comes to legal issues, they could be very different from what we are talking other speakers have said. Please, the floor is yours. Be given the mic, and let's share with what you have from that angle of the state, the prosecution from the Directorate of Public Prosecutions. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Waruinge. Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you're not too tired. And in the interest of time, allow me to say all protocols is observed and to introduce my colleague. I didn't come alone. Ms. Manyasi, please wave at the medical social workers of the future. Ms. Manyasi and I are members of a special unit called the Online Child Protection Unit within the Office of the DPP. And before I go to that, allow me to introduce the DPP. The Office of the DPP is established under the Constitution. We have offices around all the 47 counties, and our duty is basically to prosecute. When a missing child is reported and DCS take up the file, Mr. Okoth here, the DCI, investigates. And if it is established that an offense has been committed, that file, we call it an investigations file, is brought to the DPP, and we make the decision whether or not to charge. I say whether or not to charge because sometimes we do not charge children or adults depending on the offenses that they have committed, and I will come to that shortly. So I've said we decide whether or not to charge. We also have something called alternatives to prosecution. That is to say that yes, an offense has been committed, and in the course of that offense, a child has been found missing. They've been found, and our file has been opened. First thing we do when a missing child is brought to the court is we liaise with the DCS and we open what we call a protection and care file. A protection and care file is meant to assist that child to find a place to stay for the time being as we try and trace their parents. And then if it's established that that child is a victim of a certain crime, the perpetrator is brought to book, we prefer charges, and they are taken to court where they take plea and the trial begins. We have very many offenses that relate to children who go missing. The most common of which is child neglect. Someone mentioned poverty when Mr. Thana was presenting. Some parents neglect their children, and when this child is found, these parents are charged with child neglect. We have offenses like child trafficking, where children are found to have been exploited, either sexually or for labor. And in the most extreme cases, like the most common one, which happened recently, and which I'm not allowed to talk about, is death. Some missing child may die in the course of going missing. So back to the alternatives to prosecution. If parents of a child are charged with child neglect and they've agreed to take up that child and take care of them the way they're supposed to take care of them, then we do something called diversion. The child is reunited back to his or her family, and the charges against the parents are withdrawn. The alternatives to prosecutions are not for every offense. There is a law which states out what can be withdrawn or diverted, and there's a law which says what can't be diverted. And a good example of cases that we divert fall within the category that Ms. Athena presented on. I don't know if you guys saw clause relating to children who've gone missing and then they have been charged with a criminal offense. Did you guys see that? So if a child has gone missing and they have committed a criminal offense like stealing, or I don't know, think of any small offense you can think about, the DPP can choose to divert that matter and have that child punished, quote unquote, in any other way. If the parents have been found, they could choose to pay the complainant. Complainant is what we call mlalamishi. Or if they can say, maybe apologize in the case of assault where they are found fighting, then again, every case is, the decision in every case is determined by the circumstances. Lastly, I'll come to the challenges we face in the course of our job, but I will not look at it as a challenge because the people who came before us found these challenges and found ways to deal with it. The main challenge is the complexity of these cases. And there is one which has been finalized, and so I can talk about it, where a lady pleaded guilty to the offense of child trafficking. She took up that child from the mother after putting some drug in her drink, took up that child to Busia, and then she says, quote unquote, that the baby died. But there's no proof that that baby died. She pleaded guilty. She has since been sentenced to serve, I believe, 30 years imprisonment, but the baby has not been found. So as a champion of restorative justice, the dream of every practitioner is that this child is found and reunited with her mother, because the mother is still waiting for her child to be found. And how we counter this is by way of interagency collaboration. I believe we all have databases now where we work together for the future of any child who is found in our hands. My other challenge, which came out in the course of the presentation, is how poverty plays out in the commission of these offenses. And to counter that, I would build up on what Mr. Wilkins talked about. We could write papers, policy papers, which can inform decisions of our leaders. Who knows, maybe we could have a vote for more funding for vulnerable children who are potentially missing children. By way of research, another thing which comes to my mind to counter that is, I don't know if we have any politicians in the room, any medical social worker who hopes to be a politician. Think about it. Think about it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Leah, Marty, for that. I didn't think you have any challenges. You had any challenges when you're doing your prosecutory work, but now I know better. I've heard of diversion. I think this is from the children who are in conflict with law. Under such related circumstances, you may find a kid has gone missing. And it's because maybe they were taken in by the authorities. I think we need to get to know this as a special category and how to handle that. Probably they need to be traced before even anything, whether they are prosecuted or any legal action is taken. Thank you very much. I would like to invite Deno Charo, who is also a student. I never forgot about you. I know you must be ready to give us a few inputs in this. As you had, you have a lot of, maybe you've done research, you are doing anything that would help us get to know on this subject on missing children. Please, the floor is yours. Feel free.
So,
5 minutes starts now.
Thank you, Dr. Ringi, for this opportunity. So, good afternoon, everyone. So, I'm Dennis Abala, medical social work student here at JCOT. And other than being a student, I also work with Educa Africa Foundation, whereby most of the time we work mostly with children, and you should all understand that working with children is something that every one of us need to know about and understand the children more. So the issue on missing children is an upcoming issue, and also it has been there for the past years. You should also know that when a child goes missing, there are always two possibilities. There is a possibility that you'll get this child, or the child will be found, or the other possibility is that the child might go missing forever, because we have these instances, they always happen. These cases have happened because I personally know of a child who went missing in 2017, and up to date, that child has never been found. Okay? So, I guess on matters missing children, I think that maybe the community or the members of the communities are not, if they are empowered, yes, they are not fully empowered so that they can maybe know what to do when a child goes missing. Even if they are empowered, yes, maybe they are not aware. They are not aware what they are supposed to do when a child goes missing. You find that a child has gone missing, yes, but it will take a couple of maybe 2 weeks or maybe 1 week maximum, so that you find that is when the family members of that particular child are starting to make reports. Hey, my child went missing. And have you seen him? No. So I'd give this as a challenge to the Ministry of Labor and Social Protection and the Directorate of Children's Services to empower the community more, empower the members of the community, create a very conclusive network among the members of the community. If possible, create maybe things like booths whereby when a child can go missing, any member of the community can start reporting at the community itself. Because maybe the child has gone missing, yes, but he is not far away from the community. The problem comes in when this child goes out of the community and goes away. So it is very important that when this child goes missing, it starts from the community itself. Another thing is that the type of world we are living today is a digital world. Everyone here has got a smartphone. Everyone here has at least some digital literacy skills. Let's use the digital devices that we have so that we can empower ourselves. We can empower the members of the community so that they can be able to make sure that when these children get lost, or maybe when the children go missing, maybe they don't know where they are, they can try to find them themselves, the parent themselves. They can try and locate these children so that they can prevent like that incident that I've told you. Remember, when a child goes missing, there are different places that you can maybe start from searching. Maybe you can search maybe from the local neighborhood. If the local neighborhood does not go on successful, you can contact the friends of the child who has gone missing, the acquaintances of this child. So that is important. As a parent of any child, you should make sure that you know the child's friends, the friends that these children are working with, so that in the event or the occurrence of a child going missing, you are able and you are in a position to know where to start. Okay? So that is all I could like to put in, and that is my experience on missing children. Thank you.
Thank you very much for Mr. Dennis Abara for that insight. I think you mentioned about the digital space, and I think the issue of digital space is coming in. It's something that we cannot conclusively have any program without it across. I know for some of us, when we are going through school, we are not able to know of computers, applications, I think, and we end up being called digital migrants. Well, some of you are digital citizens. And even the kids we are bringing up, yeah, Mr. Sanganyi, they are now digital savvy. And we were told that they know quite a lot about manipulating or operating within the digital space. And of course, the dangers that go with that. And it doesn't mean that it's the digital space, it's really harmful, but it can also help us resolve some of the issues that we have. Particularly even using the new technology, maybe in terms of tracing. I saw that in one of the presentations where a child disappeared when that child was around 5 years and has been lost over 10, 15. You'll expect an adult by that time. How would you know this is the same person as the one who got lost? Digitally, we are able through AI to take the images and make them correspond. And this is the way to go. Having said that, I don't want to take a lot of time. I would like to get reactions from the floor. Bwana Wilkins, Dr. Wilkins, maybe you may help. You may, and also Ashia, my colleague. We have a mic revolving so that we are able to take reactions. Feel free so that we are able to get questions, your questions answered or clarified. I know all of you are courageous. As you are informed this morning.
First one, Doctor, you take 3 or 4 questions and then...
yes, three, and then maybe we can get responses from the panelists.
Good afternoon. I have a question, and
you get your name,
my name
which
is
department or something like that as you raise your questions, so that we also get to know where you are from. Thank you.
Asi Jemima, a lecturer at KMTC Karuri campus. So my question will go to Mr. Lawrence. And it was something I was also interested in. He mentioned the issue of Amber Alert, and also mentioned that you are collaborating with digital platforms, especially Meta Group. I was wondering exactly how is this Amber? Is it only going to restrict itself within the Meta Group, or are we going to see it extend to mobile phone manufacturing companies, so that people can be able to receive alerts anytime it's sent?
That's the question. We take in 3 of them and then we have the panelists answer them.
So, of all protocols observed?
Stand up, please.
Sorry? Yes. So with all the protocols observed, mine is just an input. That research shows that during the time for the floods, when the chiefs were empowered to be cooking food for the locals, most of the Sri families were united. That was just something the research came up with, that watu kulisha chakula, children were found. So now I was just adding this way, that what would happen if the most of the causes that led to children moving from home, parents, would it be left for the government, or does the ministry enough to see a way to empower parents to listen to? That's probably most of it.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon again.
Good afternoon.
I'm Mercy Wekesa from Nairobi Women's. My question is, there are so many foundational issues or factors triggering those factors to go to such issues of children goes missing. So, what are the strategies? My question goes to medical social workers. So, what are the strategies and methods that are put in place to address such situations? Thank you.
Thank you very much. The first question was specific direct to the Directorate of Criminal Services. Probably Mr. Lawrence, you may respond on this issue of the digital platform, the Meta, and whether there is a need to expand or whether there exists a mechanism to spread this. Thank you.
Yeah, so thank you for your question. And I want to say that Amber Alert is a tool by Meta, and it is on Facebook and Instagram, and it is purely for Meta. It's their initiative. So we took this initiative because the population in Facebook, it is like it is a free tool to the law enforcement authorities, and they are like trying to, as a social responsibility, giving back and making use of the Facebook community to help find the missing children. So we are riding on that. Whether other platforms will come with a similar tool, I think that is something even someone from a learning institution can develop a tool and customize for a country, because this is a US tool. And Kenya, we also can have someone who is innovative, can innovate a tool for a community where even the local communities can report and people can get updates and keep the search for a missing child very active. So this is a specific tool for Facebook, the Meta company, and it is on Instagram and Facebook. And the extent in terms of the geographical location, it is us that feed the information and creates the alert on that platform with the information we get. So if a child goes missing in Juja, we take that radius of Juja and even Nairobi, we can map and put alert so that everybody on Facebook around Juja and Nairobi and even Thika can report. Because if a child was abducted, maybe using a vehicle, the registration number is known, it has been provided, and we feed that information. Everybody around will look around and say that this vehicle has just passed here, and they give information it is heading towards Garissa. So we are able to really shift the alert to Mwingi so that it widens and increases the probability of getting that child on the same day. So that is the initiative behind that partnership. And I want to say a missing child is a missing child. What causes that child to go missing is what we investigate. A child can be reported missing and there is abduction behind it. There are those sexually facilitated or prompted abduction. Someone, because is interested in a child, can abduct a child and cause that child to be missing. So when you find that child, the act of abduction is a crime in Kenya. We will punish that person, we will charge that person with abduction. So that is something that we really have. People misuse.
Lawrence, are you using the mic? Just wondering because
I hope you hear.
I thought it's the energy levels that have gone down. But again, as you do that, also allow us to know whether the Amber Alert has increased the reporting and what response you are having. Thank you.
Yes, the Amber Alert actually was launched in March, and we did one alert. There is an active alert that was done, and the child, someone talked of the time of reporting a missing child. So a child went missing on 5th, then on 5th May, the report came to us on 12th May. You see that duration. And the information that was already there was that this person was heading to Hispania, the Tanzania-Kenyan border. So we all know that he might be crossing to Tanzania. So our alert was focused to Migori and Hispania area. So after a short while, we could hear that he was traveling alone and the child is here in Nairobi. So we shifted again our alert to Githurai and its environment. And we realized that the child had been left with a relative of the person who had abducted that child. So that is the importance of that alert. After putting that alert, we get the communication. It's not increasing the number of reports, but it is increasing the participatory of the public in the search for a missing child. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. I don't know whether that question has been answered, Madam. Yes, DCI has, it's up in terms of technology. Remember the case where we had the border guys who molested a lady along Forest Road? That is Wangari Maathai Road, and how they were arrested very quickly. And I will request you do much of that when cases of missing children. I know there is a community action where you find a lot of posts in the groups, residential, Armenians, so and so is lost, last seen as this, and then there's a photo. Again, interesting for those who are old and are in Facebook and are not in TikTok and others. There was this lady from Karatina who was posted by the parents as missing. And then she responded by saying, "Me, I'm not lost. I'm just around. These parents are bothering me." So there are all those manner of things that maybe you'd expect to get. Maybe you are not lost. You are just taking your cool away from your parents who are bothersome. And this is the beauty of the media. There was the issue of government and empowerment of the communities. I don't know who is to specifically answer this question. It was raised somehow by his input and the lady at the back.
Yeah, I got his question, and I believe it was in response to my parting shot. I asked whether anyone in the room wishes to be a politician, and I didn't get any response. But the reason for asking that is because bills are made in Parliament, and you all know about Pesa ya Wazee. Pesa ya Wazee is sponsored by a bill of Parliament. I was surprised to see a message on my phone to say that there is a similar program for children. I don't know. DCS can tell us, is there? But what we need is maybe to have more funding and a vote for it that can be rolled out across the 47 countries. I believe it would go a long way in saving those children, the ones who meet at the chief's camp for a baraza, and then there is a vote to the vulnerable moms. Yeah, I agree with you, but I believe it is work in progress and something which, again, you could look at it in another way. You could write a paper which can inform policy at that level. Yeah. Sijui kama umejibika. Oh, Mr. Sanganya.
Maybe I can add.
Yes.
But, there's one question also I'll combine with, there's a lady who asked about the same, about empowering families. For me, I look at it as something which DCS can undertake. Yeah? Because you remember when the Inua Jamii now, which was cash transfer for orphans, vulnerable children, came out from a position paper we had done. It's still DCS can do a similar route, do a position paper on missing children. You are starting now the budgeting cycle. If not this year, start it next year, and then have a budget line for missing children. You know, when a government department has a budget line for missing children, then you are saying, partners, can you come forward and support us? So complement our efforts. So that will go a long way in answering the question which our dear student had there. I had already mentioned, madam, about some of the strategies to support the families. Maybe I don't need to mention them. They are in the PowerPoint. Once you get it, all the strategies supporting the families are in the PowerPoint. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Noah Sanganye. Is someone else want to respond to the questions? Mr. Richard. Sorry, the question was on? That's regarding to medical social workers. What was the question? On medical social workers, please. Oh, this, you had asked about, could you pass the mic there?
I said there are so many foundational issues triggering the factors that leads to missing children and young adults. So I was asking the medical social workers, what are the strategies that could be addressed to counter such situations? Yes.
Yes, thank you.
Richard, please.
Now you are clear. Actually, I think one of the strategy is actually to educate the caregivers, like the parents, for them to identify those risks of those children who are at a risk of maybe running away, or to have the skill to empower these children to avoid situations whereby they can go missing, and also the schools. Actually, the strategy is to have all the community to be aware that there are children who are at a risk to running away. For the example I was giving, even the parental care, the parents themselves need to adjust to the current situation. Because I think for us who are here, I think we are fairly old enough. Because during our time, Baba wakwambia usijaribu nitakuchapa. Today, ukimwambia mtoto usijaribu, it was like that case I was telling you. Actually, the father was away, so he called a neighbor. Actually, a neighbor called the father that what this boy of yours is out at night at around 9:30. What is he doing here? So he told the neighbor, take the phone to the child. Now this man threatened this boy. Enda lala, kesho nikifika nitakuchapa. And this boy took off before because the father is working as a security guard. He took off before the father came. So it is a whole paradigm shift on how we care for our children. But now we need to give out an information on how we can go about both the teachers, because sometimes you find teachers put a lot of pressure to these students or to these children to perform, and they are not gifted. So they feel the pressure is at home, the pressure is at school, so they run to the street. So actually it is a multidisciplinary approach on how to handle such cases. Part of it is economic empowerment for the cases of poverty. because you find some children, the prophet at home, they cannot cope up with, so they run to the street to fend for themselves. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We have someone who wants to
sorry. I wanted to ask the Amber Lab. How secure is it? I was just imagining that I have abducted a child, and I'm in Facebook, and you have raised that alert. Is that not going to give me a way of trying to evade? How secure is it? Thank you.
So, Amber Alert is actually manned by police, the DCI. We are the people who are initiating the alerts and deactivating the alerts. And we have a baseline of what meets or what needs to be placed on Amber Alert. And they say that when it is believed that there is a child who is missing, who has just been abducted, the life of that child is in imminent danger. Maybe he has been abducted, and there is also ransom being requested for some time before she is harmed. So we really check what meets the Amber Alert, and nobody else apart from the DCI who is running that Amber Alert. And we can't test it with any other information. We only do real case, and it is a case that has to be vetted and verified that this case meets an Amber Alert. Yes.
Thank you very much. I hope he has answered you. But if you don't get the real explanation or the full detail on this, we have our contacts, and you may go through Dr. Maderi Wilkins, so that you can get more insights. They can reach out on us and get more information. Fiona, please, the ready in blue.
I would like to answer the question our sister has just posed. What are the strategies medical social workers have put to deal with the reasons as to why children go missing? As we answered, some of the reasons why children go missing is like family conflict. When it comes to the issue of family conflict, we can have therapy. We can have group therapy. We can counsel the family and talk to them for them to be able to give the child good living conditions. Apart from that, we can also have community engagement. We can call the community together, like the case you've been told, if I come back tomorrow, I'll beat you. We can teach the parents, let us be, yes, kids make mistakes, let us be softer. When it comes to issues like economic constraints, as medical social workers, we have been equipped to teach people. Yes, we do not give them money, but we teach people what are the things that we can do. Like, let's say, for instance, you're having a street person who does nothing. You can tell this person, learn this skill of maybe knitting, and you will be able to sell something, and you will be able to get your kid a house so that your kid wouldn't be at risk of being stolen since they're at the streets. There are very many strategies, but those are the ones I can mention for you for now. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Communities have to be empowered. And I know those that are very vulnerable, especially where we have the orphan and vulnerable children. There is cash transfer that's going towards that. And it's also been scaled so that we are able to reach more. We could not have enough resources as government, but efforts are there. Thank you. Omaitha, please. Unafanya where is the other mic?
Okay. Thank you. I'm banning because the trend in our area, when a child is lost, you find posters, and some people just post on Facebook. And I'm imagining the child is found after a month or 2 months, and then they find the posters, they find themselves in Facebook, and some, maybe the alert will be there for a while, the trauma. Do we have an app that can erase all the footprints that were on social media? That is through our DCI. Do we have such an app that you can delete all the footprints that were online for the safety of the child once they are found?
Yeah, as I said, DCI only post alert who has met some threshold, and we deactivate. And we are aware of data security. Is very many posters, because we had a concern even before we signed into Amber Alert. Those posters which were being posted for missing children with parents' details, we had reports again that some people were using those information to really defraud or ask for money, disguising that they have traced the missing individual. So what I know is that it is managed by controlled information. We don't give everything, and the contact that is given there is for the DCI, not for any individual, and that helps in controlling the data. So in terms of deleting every other information that is touching on a child who was missing and had already been found, I think with that is a space that can also be researched. Some people can innovate how their platform can really pull those information once the person has been traced. So that is an area that can also be researched. Innovators can also innovate on how to really clean, because with child abuse material, there are those tools that we use to ensure we pull. We give it a value, hash value, and we ensure that it does not appear elsewhere. And once it appears, it is detected and pulled down again. Yes.
Thank you very much, Lawrence, on that. And I know I don't want to keep you long. I don't know whether there are any questions that are burning very. I can see one heart there. I would only take maybe a maximum of 2. But if it is 1, it's okay. So there are also dangers when you post this information online. There are likely to be other predators who would like to own those kids who are lost. And of course, like he said, they want to extort money from parents. Yeah, thank you. 3 of them. Very quick ones and short, please.
All right, thank you. My name is Ogutu Brevington, a lecturer at KMTC. My question goes to Mr. Kea about the institutions offering. You said about there are about 30 of them. If you could just clarify how many or where they are located so that it can help us to place our students. And also lastly, just on the input, to touch on the academia, that I think when we do these curriculum reviews, it's good we incorporate this unit called Tracing Missing Persons, so that it touches both the adult missing and the children, and also to equip our students in matters concerning tracing missing persons. So thank you. That is my question on institutions to place our students.
Yes, the next one, please.
My name is Grace from Karori KMTC. My question to the panel is on, after you've traced a child that was missing back, are there any strategies that you put in place to ensure that this child does not go missing again? Or your focus is only reuniting the child back to the family? Are there strategies that you've put in place to ensure that this child does not go missing again? mostly on importance on this child that go missing out of mental health issues. What strategies do you put in place to ensure that this child does not go missing again?
I'm Naomi Minor, Karuri KMTC campus, and my question goes to Mr. Lawrence. You gave us this number on which to call, and my question is, for how long does it take for you guys to act as soon as a call has been made?
Thank you. And before he responds to that, I would have also like to give you another number for response on children that are in a form of distress. That is 116. Kuna mtu ashaisikia hiyo namba 116? Inua mkono kama ushaisikia hiyo namba. I can see 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. Quite a number. But those who don't know that number, is a number that you can call any time of the day, and of course it's a called child helpline. You can get on the other end some counselors, some references. If you call from whichever part of the country, you'll be directed to where you can get support. This could be where you could go for medical attention or report a case, or who can help you within your locality. So note that number, it's 116. So the first question goes to Mr. Care.
Thank you, Dr. again, and to the KMTC. The question is, the institution for placement. We have 4 types of institutions, and this goes to everyone. The first type, actually, in line the way they follow systematically, at the rescue centers. And currently we have 5 rescue centers. We have one in Nairobi, we have one in Machakos, we have one in Garissa, we have one in Kisumu, and how many others? Oh, those are 4. Okay, there's one. I'll be able to remember. And Thika here, just here. We have Thika here. Thank you very much, Christine. And then we have 9 rehabilitation schools. 9 rehabilitation schools. And before the rehabilitation schools, we have 14 remand homes. So for the 14 remand homes, they are spread throughout the country. But it is only the northern part of Kenya that we do not have a remand home. The whole of the northern area, we do not have a remand home. But we have coast region, we have in the eastern region, we have several in central region, we have some in Nairobi, we have in Rift Valley, and we have in Nyanza. So, for example, in Nyanza, we have one in Nyamira, and we have one in Kisumu. And in Rift Valley, we have Kericho, and we have Nakuru, and we have Eldoret. In Kakamega, we have one in Kakamega too. And that takes care of the whole of the western region. Then we have also a remand home in Nairobi, and we have a remand home in Machakos, and we have a remand home in Meru that covers also the eastern region.
Mr. Care, I will ask you to share your contacts with the lecturer.
By the way, I will be able to share with you this
opportunities
yes.
for his students, and maybe you can discuss even that further.
All right, and thank you. And then there was the question on the strategies. That after we have traced the children, we have strategies that will enable us or protect these children from getting lost again or getting more so when they have mental issues. There are several strategies, and one of them is working in partnership. And partnership includes even the health institutions. And I wanted also to state here that currently in the whole Republic of Kenya, we do not have a mental institution for children. Like what you can think about Madari Mental Health Hospital. So we don't have such kind of one. So we rely in the regular hospitals, and therefore we work closely with the medical stakeholders. Apart from that, there are also the aspects of counseling, psychosocial support, and counseling, that we also work with certified bodies that also assist in supporting those children. But all in all, for us as social workers, what we do is case management, and therefore we carry out what we call follow-up and monitoring that enables us to keep on supporting children from time to time so that they are not able to again be affected by those issues, and then also support those families. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kea, for that. I think there are strategies that are there. It is illegal to neglect, as Madam Mati said. So law can be taken against you. That could also be another strategy. If you have kids that are roaming and they are going to the streets and they end up missing, you can be taken responsible, just even by not taking them to school. So I would like to add our discussions here. Unless there is any further direction because of time, we do not want to go beyond this. And allow me to just mention a few things that have come out clearly on this, is that we need to create community awareness on most of the programs that we've discussed. Without the community knowledge on this, we may not be able to achieve much. And this would help us in tracing and reporting cases of this. There's the issue of the neighborhood watch programs. Let's have people who are proactive, who can report these cases. They could be the community leaders and those who are closer to children. There was an issue of the engagement of schools from Amaida. This is where the kids are mainly. Those who label the uniforms at the back, put in the whole name, that could be also risking those kids when they are going to school, because anyone may call him or her, and then you find it someone Samiri, and then they are taken off. So we need to ensure whatever we have. And of course, for them to memorize telephone numbers of close relatives. We are getting to know their neighborhoods and how they can trace back their home. There is the issue of partnership and organizations. One cannot work alone. We need to work together jointly as we are here represented. We need also to have people, we need to develop technology that would help us in adding the issue of the missing children, and also linking those that are not able to find their parents, and especially those who have any form of disability or handicaps. Those are the cases that we find quite a number of them. Technology may solve so many of whatever things that we're looking at, and we hope as we move ahead, we need to embrace it. We need to embrace ICT. Then, of course, we need to support the vulnerable populations. Poverty was mentioned. It's very key. Why are kids getting lost? Mainly most of them could be from poor backgrounds. But that does not mean kids from wealthy parents, neighborhoods do not get lost. So, having said that, I would really like to thank those of you from that side who participated by listening, by asking questions, and for you, the panelists, for really sparking the debate and giving us very deep insights in this area of missing and found children. Where I'm adding that issue of the found, after we are done with the missing, we have a case of found children. What do we do with them? So that again, we don't ensure, we ensure that they don't go back to going missing. So with that, I think I would like to invite now, Kea, that you are there, someone who can help us do a big thank you to the team that is ahead, that is in front of us. Nani anaweza tushukuru, tuwashukuru na jia gani? Anybody before Esther comes in? Tunawapigia makofi gani? Ya Moi, ya Nyayo, ya Kilo, Factorio, ile ya Maua. Gani? Factorio. Could you help us please, if you don't mind? And we do it in a way that it it will be resounding for those people who are waiting to use this room. They will know that we are here. Nani anaweza tusaidia kwa hiyo? I thought the two ladies there. Please, feel free. Factory is different. Please, you want to take a mic?
Good afternoon. Si mnajua 5 factorial. Tunafanya kwanza prac, then sasa tuifanye. Sawa? Haya. Nikisema 1 5 1 2 3 4 5 1 2 3 1 2 1. Sawa? Meshika? Haya. Fanye hivi mkono. Let's go. Tuanze vizuri. 1 2 3 4 5.
Thank you for that. I want to take a few minutes because we've come to the last part of the program. And just as my colleague Achia said, the end is always the best, isn't it? Yes, and I want to congratulate the panel. I think that was a very informative discussion. Simmesoma. There are quite a few things that I'm sure that all of us we've picked, things that will help us, if not today, they will help us even in future. So thank you very much all the panelists, including also our students who are able to participate. You did a perfect job. And thank you so much. And I happen to be in a place where we say shine. I almost wanted to say shine, but let's just tell them shine. Shine. Yeah, they did a great job. At this point, I want to recognize several people or several institutions that have made this day to be successful. In the first place, I want to appreciate JKU Arts for agreeing to host us and even for the warm welcome that we've had. And therefore, I want to recognize the chair of the Department of Rehabilitative Science, Dr. Madheri. I also want to appreciate that we had the principal with us. We had also office of the social media team that were live streaming. Can you say hi? Hi, they've done a good job in terms of live streaming this event. So thank you so much and may the Lord bless you. We also have the corporate affairs. I think that is it headed by Liz? Liz has been very helpful in terms of helping in organizing for this meeting. And so Liz, we are very grateful for that. Thank you for the corporate team. Then we have the School of Engineering. Mko, where are they? Salimiana hivi say, just wave a team. They were also very good in terms of ICT and ICT. So thank you so much. Then we have the teaching fraternity represented by Daktari and Just Wave. So thank you so much for the good work that you're doing and even to able to mobilize the students to come here and be with us. I also want to recognize organizations or institutions that are with us. And I will start by recognizing JKU Arts students. Please stand and wave. Stand and wave. We are so happy to have you. Thank you so much. I also want to recognize Nairobi Women. Nairobi Women, are we still together? Hello, it was a pleasure having you. I want to recognize KMTC, Karoli. KMTC. Wow, by the way, I was enjoying your banner. It's such a beautiful banner, and I was even asking, during the International Missing Children's Day when you'll mark, you should come with it. It's such a beautiful one, isn't it? Panelists, it's a beautiful banner that they did, and also the fact that all the teams were able to participate well, we appreciate for that. I cannot forget our moderator. He did a fantastic job. Let's tell him shine. Then we have our another moderator, Adena. Adena, just wave. That was a good work that you did for us. The various organizations that are represented here, ICS, ODPP, DCI, DCS, the students front, my friend here, I should say hi, It's long since I saw you, Hi, I've worked with this gentleman many years ago when I was a young girl. I was based at the Children's Court. So KNH and Mr. Sangani, we really appreciate the good work, Care and team. And lastly, but not least, we have our MC, Achia. His name is Mr. Achia. He also did a very good work. And Christine, sijui ameenda wapi. And, oh yes, there is Christine, yes. Yeah, so we appreciate all of you. And one scholar said, a scholar called Randy Posk says that showing gratitude is one of the simplest and yet most powerful things human can do for each other. It's powerful. That when you show gratitude, that's one of the most simplest and yet most powerful things that you can do to each other. And then in those, using those words then, I want to recognize you. And my friend here, I like saying, arigato. So I want us to stand, let's stand. And I want to appreciate you. We have the appreciation. By the way, sitting down from and listening, 10 panelists. Wow. So let's first appreciate them by saying arigato. Arigato. And then you can also appreciate the panelists and tell them arigato. So arigato is the Japanese word that says thank you. So thank you so much, everyone. Oh, let's also appreciate this team and tell them arigato. Arigato. Yes, thank you so much, everyone. And have a blessed afternoon. So Mr. Achia will come for the prayers and also the announcements about the photographs that you'll have. Thank you.
That was not me. Okay, it was me. We would like to pray. Then corporate affairs, you'll guide us where to take photos. Is it here? Okay, so we'd like to pray, and then our panelists just remain where you are as we prepare for the photo. Shall we pray? Our Father, our God, King of the universe, we bless your name. We thank you for this session that we've had. We thank you for you've enlightened us with many things, that even as we're going home, we are going home empowered, enlightened, and energized to do more, to do better, and to work together. We pray that you may bless us abundantly. We thank you for you've promised your children that you'll guide them as they go out and they shall come in. As we are going out, bless us, keep us by your grace until we meet again in other forums of learning and work. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Thank you. God bless you. You may be seated as our panelist. You can just, I don't know whether you stand or you can sit as you wait for the next direction. Thank you. So just guide us in what next we're going to do. Thank you. Your chair was always here. Thank you. So we'd like to take 2-3 minutes to take photos. We'd invite the panelists to stand at the bottom of the stairs, then the students stand behind them, so that we have a photo of all of us being present. How does that sound? So, okay. Just come over, just come over. We want you all on the steps. Karibuni sana. Thank you. Students, come over, just come over. If I was you, I would like to stand right behind one of the panelists. Eh?
Research assistant based